Hi, hope you're enjoying your day. In this video, we will talk about the circle of influence, but I will start with one question. Did you know that circumstances nor other people can never make you a victim unless you allow it? What makes you sometimes feel like a victim is your decision to focus on your circle of concern rather than your circle of influence. But let's start with a broader general explanation of what these two circles actually are. The circle of concern includes a wide range of our concerns, so it could be your health, family, your problems at work, environmental issues, political situation, economy, etc. In this circle of concern, there is another circle, and it's called circle of influence. There are only those concerns that we can do something about. If you are focusing on the concerns out of our circle of influence, for example, the coronavirus, political situation, economy, then we are only wasting our time and it moreover depletes our energy because we have no control over them. If we focus on these things, we will achieve nothing, we will feel hopeless and powerless, and it will increase the negative energy within us. Eventually, this negative energy will reduce our circle of influence. On the other hand, if we focus on the things in the circle of influence, we'll make effective use of our time for the things we can do something about, and it gives us a sense of control and evokes positive energy within us that consequently enlarges our circle of influence. But this is quite a complex topic and I don't want to go too much in detail about theory, but if you would like to know more, then I recommend you a very good book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Now I will interpret it more in my own way and give you just a few examples. So first of all, for the concerns out of our circle of influence, I ask myself a question: what can I do about it? And although I usually find out that I cannot do much for these concerns, as they're basically out of my circle of influence, I try to identify at least some small action or contribution that can I do. For example, in case of the COVID-19 situation, I realized that all I can do is to follow preventive actions to avoid spread of the virus. As for the political situation, all I can do is to vote in elections, right? There are also various environmental issues. But again, how can I contribute to solve them? So I try to buy eco-friendly products, to reduce my consumption, etc. This identification of my small contribution in these areas helps me not only enlarge my circle of influence, but also to free my mind from these concerns, as I know that I do all my best for all of them. Consequently, it allows me to focus the remaining time and energy to the things inside the circle of influence, for example, habits, learning, etc. And it fills me with a positive energy. As I have just mentioned, we have direct influence and control over our habits, and I will tell you something more about the power of habit and how the change of habit affected my life in the next video. So subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss it. Another example where I realized the importance of knowing my circle of influence is different life circumstances or negative life situations. And although we cannot control circumstances or prevent some negative situation, we should realize that we can still control and influence our reactions to the situation. So what happens in our lives is often out of our circle of influence, but our reactions to different life situations are in our hands, so they are part of that circle. As an example, let's take a breakup initiated by your partner or by some of these actions. It's something you cannot avoid at the time when it's happening. So if the breakup is inevitable, meaning that it's out of your circle of influence, then you should realize that your reactions to this breakup are still part of your circle of influence. And although it may take some time to get over a breakup, if you focus on getting a proper closure after a breakup, it helps you not only to heal from the situation, but also to grow in some way, thanks to life lessons learned in that situation. So even though I went through some tough times, I never felt like a victim, as I never lost the sense of control in the situation, right? Thanks to focusing on the things I could control. It's always up to you. If you choose to be a victim of the situation, it's when you focus on the things out of your circle of influence, or you choose to learn and grow in some way. It's when you focus on the things in this circle. The choice is always yours. I have to admit that, of course, I'm very grateful for every positive moment in my life, but I'm also grateful for the tough times. As right, thanks to some tough times, I learned a lot of lessons, and it always helped me to move my life forward in some way. Leonardo DiCaprio said it very nicely: be thankful for the hard times, for they have made you. And the last example where I would like to point out the importance of circle of influence is concerning to our past, present and future. And it's important to know that as past is completely out of our circle of influence, as there is no way to change it, we have no control over it, we shouldn't dwell too long in our past, as we are only losing our time. Of course, we should remember all of life lessons learned, but it's definitely a better idea to focus on the present, as that's what we can directly influence. And how we spend our time in present can significantly influence our future as well. Learn the past, watch the present, and create the future seems to be a really good idea to follow. I think it's good to at least know that in every situation there is something we can influence as well as something we probably can't. And that circumstances won't make us hopeless or victimized unless we focus our time, energy and thoughts on the things outside our circle of influence. But instead, by focusing on the things inside the circle, we will have a sense of control and power no matter what the situation is. So feel free to like, share this video and subscribe to my channel.